Hello everyone, it's Nina. Thanks for joining me today for a new video. Thanks for joining me today for a new video. I'm going to be using Simon Says Stamp's brand new February 2024 card kit called Love Story to make 4 different card projects using the kit contents. I always enjoy making cards with the Simon kits because all of the items work so well together to make a lot of cards. So I'm hoping by sharing the ideas that I'm going to be showcasing today, you're going to get a kickstart on creating when you get the kit to be able to work with too. I really love the beautiful pattern papers in this kit. They are from Simple Stories, and you also get an entire pack of Simple Stories bits and pieces. I'm going to be using those 2 items together along with the Cascading Hearts embossing folder that's part of the kit. We're going to first work on embossing our cardstock. This is white cardstock that I've ran through my die cut machine with the embossing folder so I get this cute heart pattern. I'm going to be placing this ephemera piece of the birds on top, and then I'm also going to cut a small strip of the pattern paper to go underneath. I do want to add a little touch of pink color to the background though, so I'm going to bring in Cheeky ink from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm going to ink blend along the bottom, bringing it up about halfway across my paper. I don't want this to be too heavy with color, I just want a touch of blush behind the birds. This pattern paper looks really pretty when paired with the champagne matte cardstock that's in the kit, so I cut a small strip of that to go above the pattern paper strip, and that trims things up really nicely. I'll use my scissors to cut off any excess that was hanging off the sides, and then I'm going to attach the bird ephemera onto my card with some Simon Says Stamp foam squares. 3D foam squares are really handy for putting ephemera pieces onto your card project. And then I used foam tape to add to the back side of my entire panel so I could put it onto an A2 size card. The shabby chic style of this kit is such a fun excuse to do some splattering. So I'm going to bring in some Unravelled Mica stain from Holtz, and I'm going to splatter this across my background. I allowed this to get onto the card base too because I wanted that splattering to continue the whole way through. While that was drying, I went over to my Misty tool and stamped one of the greetings from the stamp set that's included in the kit onto some black cardstock. These typewriter greetings are fantastic for the style of the kit, and I embossed this sentiment with white embossing powder on top of the black cardstock. Then I used a 3D foam square in black to attach it onto my card, and I centered it right in the middle of my card, lining it up along that champagne matte cardstock area. To embellish the card, I did add a few sparkly heart stickers from Rainbow Splash. You get an entire pack of those in the kit, and I used 3 of them around the birds to add that nice touch of glitz and sparkle. This card is so elegant with the beautiful birds and all the striking flowers. The color combinations that are in the kit contents inspired me to add that touch of pink to the background, and I really love how that looks. There are some other awesome products in this kit, including an entire pack of Simon Says Stamp's Acetate Hearts foil transfer cards. So one of them I've already foiled, and I'm going to show you how to do this because it's super easy. You'll take some deco foil, so any foil that works with toner foiling, that's the type of foil you're going to want to use for these sheets. I'm going to place my acetate and the foil pretty side up inside of a carrier sheet from Thermoweb, and then I will run this through my Minc machine, or you can use a laminator. I like to use the heat setting of 3, and then once this ran through the machine, I was able to peel off the foil to reveal that beautiful foiled design that's left behind. And you get a total of 4 sheets from the kit, and I really love this heart one. I thought this would be fun to foil in a reddish pink color. So I ran that one through as well, and that gave me these really nice bold hearts that I can use on top of some of the pattern paper that's in the kit. So I chose this text print. I think this is really cool. It's a fun collage effect. And I'm going to glue this acetate heart sheet onto this paper using some dots of glue behind the areas that are foiled. That way you won't see the adhesive when this is adhered down. And the Simon Says Stamp Craft Tacky Glue does dry clear, so if you do have anything that squishes out the sides, you're not going to notice it. I'm going to wrap this with some plastic from some stamp packaging, so that way I can turn this into a shaker card. I love edge-to-edge shaker cards because they're super low bulk. You could turn this into a traditional shaker by making a frame and using foam tape, but I really like the slim profile of edge-to-edge shaker cards because they're a lot easier to mail. So this is why I went this route. I put adhesive on all 4 sides of my background panel, and then I'm folding the plastic into that adhesive on 3 of those sides. That 4th edge we're going to leave open for now so that way we can fill it with some sequins. And for this, I chose some glitter sequins from PinkFresh Studios. These are a champagne color, which match really nicely with the colors of the pattern paper and the colors of the kit. So I filled that up and then removed the release paper from that last edge so I can close all of those sequins inside. I always trim off any excess that's hanging on the corners so everything is nice and tidy. And then I'll get everything shaking so that way the sequins are distributed evenly across the card. I'm pulling out one of the ephemera pieces from the kit. This one says Adore, and I'm going to stick this in the middle bottom portion of my card. I'm going to finish off the greeting by adding the word You, which I found from one of the pattern paper sheets. This cute little font reminds me of typewriter keys, and I thought it would be fun to fussy cut these out so that way I could stick this underneath the Adore. So I used my fine detail scissors from Simon Says Stamp to trim the U out, and then I will go around the edges with a black marker to hide the white core of the paper, and that cleans things up nicely and gives it a very seamless look. And then I just used some liquid adhesive to glue that down right on top of my edge-to-edge shaker. So this shaker card is done. It's so pretty with those foiled hearts on top of that pattern paper that gave it such a unique look, and those beautiful sequins inside adds the perfect amount of sparkle to this finished card. Let's make another one of those cards with the acetate heart sheet. I foiled this one with some pink foil and then I glued it down on top of some of this pattern paper from the kit. This is going to look beautiful inside of an edge-to-edge shaker as well. I'm going to do the exact same thing that we did for the other shaker, putting adhesive around all four sides and closing the plastic around the paper so that way I form a pocket. But this one I filled with some iridescent hearts because the pattern paper would still show through that iridescent heart, and that would allow this to have some sparkle, but still allow that beautiful foiled sentiment and also the pattern paper to still shine. I laid this onto a A2 size card, and you can see this is quite a bit smaller than an A2 card, so I have a nice mat around this shaker. And I did end up tying a bit of twine around the bottom with a little seal added on top. I thought this would be fun to add one of the ephemera pieces on top of this card, and by putting some ribbon behind it, it gave it a really nice grounding point. So this seal I just attached with a little square of Simon Says Stamp 3D foam squares, and that finished things off. That yellow seal really tied in the yellow colors of this card. There was a lot of pink, and I could have gone with one of the pink seals, but I thought the yellow would be a nice contrast, so that's why I chose that one. All right, I have one more card to share, and this one's going to use the stamp set that's in the kit. So this stamp set is the slider camera and typewriter stamp set, and there are coordinating dies that work with the camera and the typewriter that can cut a slider track that allows you to put either a sheet of paper or a Polaroid from the stamp set into the camera or the typewriter. The kit does come with the typewriter coordinating die, but you can also purchase the camera coordinating die separately. I don't have the camera die, so I'm actually going to fussy cut mine. So if you want to watch this and then just get the coordinating die to go with it, you can then make the same card or follow along exactly how I made mine. So what you're seeing me do right now is I'm stamping the camera and also the Polaroid with some VersaFine Clair ink. This is a really detailed pigment ink, and it allows me to get all of those really fine details of the stamps to transfer beautifully. This does take a little bit of time to dry, or you can use a heat tool to set it, but you're going to get a really nice stamping result. So I really like using this ink for something as detailed as these stamps. You're also noticing I'm stamping the Polaroid onto some of the pattern paper because this is going to be my photo for the camera. So I'll fussy cut this right up to the line of the Polaroid itself because I want to glue this into the white piece that I also stamped. So here's the white piece, and I'm going to actually cut around the outside edges just like the die would do. Again, I don't have the coordinating dies, so I'm just fussy cutting mine. And then I also had to fussy cut the camera, so I'm going to cut around the edges of that, but then I'm going to also take a craft knife and cut a slit where the Polaroid would be able to slide into. And if you have the coordinating die for this, that would make the slit for you, so you don't have to do this. But again, because I don't have the die, I'm going to have to do this on my own. So I'm going to glue my photo into the Polaroid. I'm using a glue stick to add some adhesive to the back of that pattern paper, and I will just then nest that into the location where it's supposed to sit. And then I did color my camera by doing a little bit of ink blending with some Simon Says Stamp Carnation ink. When the VersaFine Clair ink dries, it does not react to positively saturated ink or watercolors. So you could easily color this camera with an ink like the positively saturated inks or watercolors if you wanted to get a colored look, but it does not work with Copic markers. So my camera is going to get sat onto this background that I embossed with the Cascading Hearts embossing folder. That was the folder I used earlier in the video. And I'm going to ink blend around the edges of this paper with some spring ink from Simon's Positively Saturated Ink collection. I thought this mint green color would look really nice with the colors that are in my photo on the Polaroid, and also would pair well with the pink color. So I'm going to end up gluing my camera along the middle portion of this card, and you can see how the Polaroid's going to pull in and out. I do want to decorate that Polaroid a bit more, so you'll see me do that here in a minute. I did also add a little rainbow splash sparkly heart to the camera just for a fun little accent. These chunky hearts are super cute. So my Polaroid is going to get a sentiment stamped on it, so that way when you pull it out, it reveals the greeting. And this says, "I love you." And again, I'm using that same VersaFine Clair ink to stamp this down because I want that really nice, rich black sentiment. Then I also added the word "pull" from the stamp set and a small heart. So that way the recipient knows that they have to pull on this to reveal what's inside. I'm going to fit some foam squares around the edges of my camera, and I laid the Polaroid there just to make sure it would clear any of that adhesive and not get stuck. And then I glued this straight down onto my heart panel. You'll notice I did add some black splattering onto this panel too. I just used some black paint to do that. And now my cute little Polaroid fits inside this camera beautifully, and you can pull it in and out to reveal that adorable greeting. So all of these cards were made possible by using contents from the February 2024 card kit from Simon Says Stamp. This is a really well-rounded kit and has so many beautiful elements in it that you can use to make cards for the people you love all year round. I hope you were inspired by these card projects. If you're interested in any of the products that I used today, including the kit, I have links below in the video description and over on my blog, so you can check all of that out there. Thanks so much for watching. I will be back very soon to share more with you all. But until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.